Imagine the sweat-slicked court under the blistering Dubai sun, Emma Raducanu locked in a fierce rally, her racket slicing through the air like a lifeline. But then, in a heartbeat that echoes louder than any cheer, her world fractures, those piercing eyes from the stands, unblinking, fixated, a shadow from her nightmares materialize just feet away. She freezes mid-serve, breath catching like a noose tightening, the ball tumbling forgotten as terror floods her veins. This wasn't just a match, it was survival, a stalker's gaze turning triumph into torment, leaving the US Open champion gasping, unseen wounds deeper than any defeat. What if the roar of the crowd masked the whisper of dread that had haunted her for years? Emma, barely out of her teens when fame exploded like a supernova after that 2021 New York miracle, never imagined the spotlight would summon monsters. Back in London, shadows lingered at her family home, a faceless intruder breaching the ordinary, pounding on doors in the dead of night, letters laced with obsession slipping through the mail slot like venomous serpents. Police lights flashed, cuffs clicked, a 5-year restraining order etched in ink, but fear doesn't dissolve on paper. It festers, waiting for the next serve to summon it back. Fast forward to Dubai, February 2025, the air thick with ambition and exhaust. Emma steps onto the court against Elise Mertens, the stakes electric, a quarter-final push, her form flickering back to glory after injuries that clawed at her spirit. The first set unfolds in a blur of aces and errors, her focus a fragile fortress. Then, during a changeover, she glances up, routine, reflexive, and there he is. Not a fan's fleeting admiration, but that same chilling stare, the man who'd been barred from her life, now perched courtside like a predator in plain sight. Heart slamming against ribs, vision blurring with hot tears, she whispers to her team, the words choking out, "He's here." The fixated phantom, removed by security in seconds, but the damage detonates. She returns to play, but the ball becomes a ghost, invisible through the saline storm, each breath a ragged battle against panic's iron grip. In that suspended agony, surprise strikes like a thunderclap. How had he slipped through the tournament's vaunted veil? Emma later confesses to the BBC, voice steady but eyes haunted, "I couldn't see the ball through tears, could barely breathe." The match crumbles, not to superior spin or strategy, but to an invisible adversary who'd crossed oceans to claim her fear. Police swarm post-match, another restraining order slapped down, swift as a fault line. Yet the ripple endures, a stark reminder that glory's gleam attracts not just glory hunters, but those who twist adoration into chains. This breach wasn't isolated, it echoed the 2022 siege, when that London lurker's arrest barely muffled the echoes of his threats. Emma, resilient as English rain, channels the chaos into fuel, winds follow in Indian Wells, a defiant roar against the void. But the tennis world awakens, too. WTA chiefs decry it no security lapse, yet whispers grow of fortified protocols, shadows scanned before strokes. For Emma, it's personal alchemy, turning terror's grip into groundstrokes that thunder louder, a testament that even in vulnerability, champions carve paths through the dark. And just when you think the nightmare fades, June 2025 delivers the gut-punch twist. The same stalker, undeterred by bans, slyly applies for Wimbledon tickets, his name flagged in the ballot like a landmine defused at the last gasp. Wimbledon blocks him cold, a quiet victory in the All-England club's hallowed hush, but Emma's vigilance sharpens, every envelope suspect, every face in the crowd a potential echo. She speaks out, not from a podium of pity, but power. "This is the underbelly of our game, the price of being seen." Fans rally, petitions surge for athlete safeguards, turning her ordeal into a beacon. Through it all, Emma's grace endures, her serve slicing sharper, her smile a shield forged in fire. The Stalker saga underscores the fragility beneath the fame, where one woman's gasp for air becomes a chorus for change. Yet in the quiet courtside moments, she wonders, will the eyes ever truly look away? Welcome to Tennis Insider, where we unpack the unfiltered truths of the court. Subscribe now for more raw revelations that keep you on the baseline. But here's the call that echoes: if Emma's fight ignites your fire, hit that like button, drop a comment on your own chills from the game, and share this with a fellow fan who needs to know. Your engagement. It's the ace that amplifies her voice. Tennis Insider, delving deep, one nightmare at a time. Stay fierce, stay informed. It all converged in that one point, a crossroads where triumph or torment awaited. The second set twisted into legend, a 22-point tiebreak that stretched eternity under the floodlights, Raducanu's lead evaporating like mist at dawn. Serving for the match at 5-3, she unleashed a first serve that kissed the line, but Krejcikova, eyes like sharpened steel, lasered a backhand return winner, the ball skidding low and lethal, saving the first match point with a roar that shook the stands. Raducanu's face flickered, shock, then steel, as she held, but the momentum's tide had turned, Krejcikova leveling at 5-5 with a volley that kissed the net cord and dropped dead. The tiebreak erupted, Raducanu bolted to 5-2, her forehand a whip-cracking winners, 2 more match points on Krejcikova's serve, one a double fault teeter on the edge, the other a net rush foiled by a lob that floated like fate's cruel joke. But the Czech, fresh from saving 8 at the US Open against Townsend, channeled that same sorcery, a forehand rip at full stretch, an ace that hummed defiance, and suddenly it was 6-5, then 7-6, Krejcikova's mini-break a dagger to the heart. The arena pulsed with tension, every point a chess move in a game of inches, Raducanu's slices skimming lines, Krejcikova's drops luring errors. At 9-9, the world held its breath, Raducanu's backhand clipped the tape, but Krejcikova's reflex volley screamed back, forcing set point. Raducanu saved 1, 2, then on the third, a forehand long under pressure, the set slipped away 7-6, 10, nearly 3 hours in, both women drenched, chests heaving like warriors post-battle. Krejcikova pumped her fist, her 10th double fault forgotten in revival's rush, Raducanu slumped, racket tapping thigh, the what-ifs already whispering. This wasn't just a set lost. It was a symphony of squandered supremacy, Krejcikova's 93% first serve points in clutch moments a masterclass in mental armor. Raducanu's second serve, a mere 27% lifeline, betrayed her in the frenzy, errors creeping like shadows. The decider loomed, a third-set guillotine, where fatigue would feast on the fallen. The third set unfolded like a requiem, Krejcikova's resurgence a storm that swallowed Raducanu whole. From the baseline, the Czech's game sharpened to a blade, forehands firing cross-court lasers, serves landing like precision strikes, her net approaches volleys that whispered death. Raducanu, legs leaden from the marathon, fought valiantly, saving 2 break points in the third game with aces that echoed her season's fire, but the tank emptied fast. At 2-2, a forehand unforced, her 20th of the night, gifted the break, Krejcikova pouncing with a backhand down the line that painted the line white-hot. From there, it was annihilation. 5 straight games for the 6-1 close, the match clock ticking 2 hours 52 minutes of unyielding war.